everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing mono black mid-range. This is kind of an archetype that's been around for a while. It's been one of my favorite archetypes to play, and overall I know a lot of people actually enjoy playing this archetype. Maybe not necessarily playing against it, as obviously we play a ton of removal in this deck, and if you're playing a creature based deck, it's obviously quite frustrating. As you can see, kind of all of our removal stacked up here early, along with some Dresses, Deep Cavern Bat for hand disruption, a 1-2 punch combo with Unstoppable Slasher and Bloodletter, just in case for some reason you don't know. If Bloodletter is in play and an Unstoppable Slasher hits your opponent, Unstoppable Slasher says your opponent loses half their life total, and on your turn, this triggers a double damage effect, which means they could be at infinite life. Unstoppable Slasher will take half of that infinite, and then Bloodletter will do the other half of infinite, and then we'll double infinite them, essentially, and they'll lose. So if they have 100 life, Slasher's ability triggers, they take 50, they'll lose 50, essentially. And then we have Archfiend as kind of a higher end demon, speed demon, a card from Aetherdrift to be playing in here, draws us extra cards based on what our speed is, and then a card to wrap it all together in Unholy Annex, along with 2 Soulstone Sanctuaries to act as demons until we find extra copies. But with that said, this is an archetype we've played quite a lot. Let's just go ahead and dive into the games. Sure, I guess, right? Removal, Flasher, everything looking up, I suppose. Think about going first with this type of removal that's so wild is getting to play our second land here. Then maybe they play like a non-hasty creature that gives us time to play Lily, or we just draw a Go for the Throat and nothing matters. Yeah, I mean, sure. Mono red against mono black. Removal against ignore everything you do and try to win. Smile. We're going to go for Unstoppable Slasher, a really good removal threat in general, or removal answer in general, because it gets to block for free. Other than anything with, like, Trample, obviously. But our hand, in a weird way, is just so good, because we get to duress. Look at this hand. See a Lightning Strike and 2 Swift Spears? Sure. Liliana minus
with the mysteries,
and then put them at 8.
Haven't you ever heard of
I'd like to touch you one time and put your life, or 9. I'd like to put your life total at 9. Then we're going to play an Archfiend, which with that Lightning Strike gone, they're not going to be able to really remove this. They have to answer the Lily. Honestly, best case scenario is they play 2 Swift Spears, hold 1 back. Maybe they go for Lightning Strike on Slasher. That would also make sense. I bet. Doesn't count our creatures, by the way, so we don't have to necessarily worry about that. Here. Get through combat. Let's play an Archfiend. It only counts their creatures, but we get the Lightning Strike out of the way. The only reason we don't play this first is so they can't hold the Lightning Strike per se. They have to do some weird stuff, and now they just have no chance. The game is entirely over. Sure. Play a Slasher, attack with Archfiend. Down to 3. I don't think there's a card that they can draw other than Shelter by Ghost, I guess, but they're not playing Boris. And yeah, we win. Sure, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't feel like a hand I should be able to keep, but if they're slower, which so far they are, should be fine. Cut down is good, but not necessarily a backbreaker. Cycle to draw, sure. Only drawing lands here is not great. It'll be better once we hit a pocket of non-lands, but for right now, definitely a bit more punishing. Or at least feels that way. The problem is if we play a Slasher here, they can just cut down it. Let's just establish more card draw and try to take this card advantage up. And then we can maybe play Deep Cavern Bat, absorb something. Maybe I don't know. Do I just play the Archfiend or the Bloodletter, dodge cut down? I guess so. Then I can play Slasher next turn. Cut down's a good draw. That gives us an answer to Mosswood. Maybe a go for a throat coming in. Yeah. Got to figure this out quick, though. You know that. Land. See how impatient our opponent is. Let's play a Slasher. Perfect. We just wanted to wait to see when they did that. Keep Cavern Bat. X command. No land for it currently. Don't feel like the mode on it is necessarily all that great. I guess take it so they can buff a creature a ton. Okay, please stop drawing Unholy Annexes. Actually, realistically, it's probably not even that bad, right? Because I just make a big demon next turn. I just go over and over again with that. Another creature on top they keep. Draw. Is 5, 6, 7. No. Anoint's good. Anoint's actually great. The only problem is we have like a turn off we have to waste. We have to use cut down here. Which is obviously tough. Might actually have to block. The 5. Bloodletter, nice. Sure. Yeah. So fire off cut down. Block. Let's cut down this. Regardless. Block. And I have to block here. Tough. Brutal. But that's okay. Oh, they changed their attacks. Sure. Well. Boom. Boom. Okay. I guess I have 7, which is lethal in general, but cool. We end up coming away with that game, which I did not expect there for a minute, but no full out attack, no life to be gained, so we fire it off and we get there. Very nice. We have multiple disruption spells, and we have like a card that doesn't necessarily need to be played anytime soon. Fire off the rest. We'll take a protection spell if needed, or we'll take Monstrous Rage. And then we have kind of a choice here. Do I just go the removal route, or do I play Deep Cavern Bat, take the Slick Shot? It's a little tough. Yeah, I think I have to do Deep Cavern Bat, and the reason for that is this is essentially acting. Oh, gross. Sure. But this is essentially acting as a removal spell. It's like really weird. They might fling to answer my Deep Cavern Bat. No. Yeah, I don't trust the fact that you didn't just draw a spell. I don't trust that at all. We will go to combat. And what I'm meaning by removal spell is we get to answer the Slick Shot show off by putting it, obviously, under Deep Cavern Bat. But this is also negating the Heartfire hero currently, because of the fact that it does 1 and gains that life back. So now it's essentially answering 2 creatures in 1. That's why it's obviously so nice. Sure. Huh? Sure. Go for the throat on the hero. They could have drawn a protection spell, which will suck, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is. There's nothing I can do. Not giving them a draw, though, knowing that that's probably what they drew. Do I go for an Archfiend here? Shelter is obviously possible, but this is just such a large creature. And Bloodletter makes it hit for 12 next turn, so I guess that's probably fair. And if it just dies here, then it dies here. kind of one of those weird things. Also, Unholy Annex can start getting us life, but if they shelter by Ghost Me, it just happens. Sure, I guess. Yeah, sure, man. You want to play the card that you only have access to right now? That wasn't the big move here. That wasn't the big mover. Do I just play Unholy Annex instead because it gains life? Will that matter? Playing Unholy Annex gains me life. But that's 7 for 14. And I'd have Bloodletter back as a blocker. I guess that makes sense, right? And when their creature dies, they'll be active player. So I believe they lose before anything else, which is weird. We'll see. Yeah, I'm actually curious. So that dies, that hits. Active player. Okay. I will explain that just so we're aware. There's a weird thing where if 2 simultaneous triggers were to happen at the same time, for example, this is a dies trigger. So whenever this creature dies, its ability happens. This is also a dies trigger. Depending on the turn, which it was their turn, right? They have priority. Therefore, their trigger goes on the stack first. I don't know all the rules. I just know how this kind of works. It is their turn. They had priority. They caused the action to happen. So their trigger goes on the stack first. And then ours goes on the stack second because ours is like a reactive kind of thing. Like we're the non-active player. So ours goes on second. And because ours goes on second, it's first in, last out. It's how the stack resolves. So ours actually ends up resolving before theirs. So say this was a lethal amount of damage for 7, for example. And their creature died. They flung it at us. It was 7 damage. Our Archfiend would still do the 2, as you saw here, and at no point would they ever get to change the stack order. So this would never resolve before they would have died to the 2 damage. So, with that said, that's very cool. But we'll move on. Wow. Do we think we have a hand? So, I've played against a lot of aggro. Let's try. This is Omniscience combo, isn't it? Actually, they mulled. That means they're Boros aggro. Heartfire Hero. Oh! Nice. I have one of these. I'm gonna let Archfiend go. Ugh. I need the demon, by the way, and I also need a demon. What do we think about the decay demon that we saw, team? What do we think about that one? If you don't know what I'm talking about, the spoilers has the 2-mana 5/5 demon that I think too many Unholy Annex is gonna get me in trouble, but too many lands is also going to do that. But, it's 2 mana. It has decay. I love lands. Who else love lands? 2 mana. Decay. Decay makes the creature sacrifice after combat if it attacks. It is a 5/5. It does have the demon archetype. I'm out here struggling. I am at 12. I'm at 10. That is a demon. This is going to die to a monument, but we're going to play it. At least now I can make a demon every turn, essentially. I might even go and make this one a demon and then duress them with my last remaining mana instead. Or I can play a speed demon because it does have flying, but whatever. Oh, yes. Please hit me with Hopeless Nightmare once again. I would love that so much. All right. Well, I had to duress it. Is it... Oh, yes. I'm aware. Thank you. Non-land permanent, I believe. Yeah. Hopeless Nightmare sucks. But I live regardless. I don't know if I can beat Kaido. non-land permanent. So if they want to shelter by ghost, they can take my Unholy Annex. And then I can cut down whatever creature, unless they put it on a fear. I can't obviously answer fear. But the idea is they'll probably wait, I would assume. Because I think you want to exile the demon I make off of the chamber, probably. Not a rocket scientist, though. But yeah, Kaido seemed unbeatable. Them getting to pick up like a Pixie again. And then do the Hopeless Nightmare cycle once again. Then plus on Kaido or Surveil with Kaido, blah, blah, blah. You know, the thing that Esper Pixie does. I think they're trying to figure out if I'm dead here or not. It's very close. I can go to 1. Which is also reasonable. And then I'll die to my Speed Demon. But I don't know if just playing... Like, Speed Demon wouldn't have worked, right? Because they would have just sheltered by ghosted out of the way. Which is, like, weird, sucks. But it is what it is. If I would have given Kaito, I actually probably would have lost. So they would have attacked. Kaido would have came in. That would have been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then they could have hit a land and then Hopeless Nightmare. Did you really Salt Rage off when you're like 1 point from winning? Sure, dude. I don't... Sure. Like, don't... Whatever, bro. I don't care. You can be petty about it. I'm literally at 1 life. Like, what are we raging about? I just assumed they were actually tanking, not that they left the game. But sure, we'll be back whenever we get to either make a game action or whatever. Okay. I don't even think they're allowed to block now. Yeah, I was saying, I don't even think they're allowed to block. All right, so we play Swamp. I'm going to tap this for a mana. I'm going to... Yeah, I don't even want to lose life, I think. I'm just going to unlock this. I don't even want to lose life. Here's my 6/6. I have a cut down. You figure it out, dude. But they're not going to figure it out because they had me at 1 and decided that that's unwinnable and no live. I just don't. Okay, cool. We'll cut back in whenever either Arena makes them concede or we like win next turn. All right, Arena, you're gonna make them concede. Okay. Ooh. If you don't know how they had us at 1, it's pretty kind of clear to an extent. We were at 10. They had 6 damage here. They had Hopeless Nightmare. They could also Shelter by Ghost onto a creature, taking our Ritual Chamber, our Unholy Annex. So they exile this. They Hopeless Nightmare. They hit me, gain a little life, and all I have is this and my mana, and I literally couldn't beat it. Like, I just lost. But instead, they left for whatever reason. I don't know. But cool. Going first. Our hand's a bit expensive, but I'm going to try to keep this. Oh, somebody's excited for Eugene. Eugene the Spirit Dragon. Dress. Ooh. Oh, it's blue-white, and you don't have blue. Okay. Protection's okay. Shelter's annoying, but I get around both of these, so it doesn't really matter. Land draw. Best draw. Land draw, best draw. They're also thinking the same thing, probably. They hit that island. They do, unfortunately. Okay. We tell them to each opponent sacrifice a non-token creature. We have to do this. Then we have to Liliana minus on the Tamer. And then just hope they have no more creatures. Smile.
Enough.
I guess if they do, we do have to go for the throat, so it doesn't matter. Which is why we always take the protection spell. Because our other removal matters. Now, obviously, Shelter or Shieldred's Edict doesn't matter. And Lily, it doesn't matter. But it does matter for cards like this. So we always want to prioritize taking away the things that matter like that. So I guess we plus here. Speed Demon goes. Obviously, you probably just get rid of a land. Do I establish a slasher or do I take apart their hand? I'm gonna play Slasher, I think. So the Go for the Throat is one away, and Lily also has a minus. So even if they do have Shelter by Ghost, we can always minus a Lily, and then Slasher's back on the battlefield, and then we can Deep Cavern Bat or Go for the Throat the next thing. So very cool. All right, pretty interactive hand. A lot of Eruption to go along with our Bloodletter, so we'll keep. We start off with a good old Duress, everybody's favorite. No targets! Mono red didn't have a monster trade. Well, let's be honest. We know what this card is. Immediately, we know what that card is. No. So, Deep Cavern Bat. Or to not Deep Cavern Bat. To cut down or not to cut down. Who's to know? Cut down. Double Heartfire Hero. We throw up. We play a Bloodletter. We obviously have to draw a land at some point here. Sure. Oh, we draw just that. Now, to be fair, you didn't have any other cards, so these better not be a spell that I can duress. I do need to find an answer for that, or I am in trouble. But we keep drawing these things called Land the Gathering, and that's putting us in a lot of danger. But we get to play this for now, gain a little life. Okay. One way or the other with mono red, isn't it? We either flood or do the opposite. Sad. I'm good. To be fair, so far, mono red player is like supposedly drawn nothing. Yeah, apparently they've also drawn nothing. Oh my, Arena, help one of us win the game, please. I mean, I could help win the game. To be fair, they do have like a draw engine as well. I think they... Yeah. I know what they're going for. Do I just not lose life? It tries to attempt to gain life, but I don't lose any. Is that what happens? I don't know, actually. I know the answer with Bloodletter. Like, I'm not blocking. They should burst lightning the Screaming Nemesis. You're playing mono red. Always burst lightning the Nemesis. Might be thinking why. Because it still does too, and then your opponent can no longer gain life for the rest of the game. Although, I don't know if you know this. Team, we're in trouble. Slasher's not even good enough. I think I have to make the 6/6 because that's lethal. And then I have to do some random block of like block. I have no idea. Can you imagine if I couldn't gain life here? Wouldn't that suck? Hey, opponent, can we petition to void this game? I think it's very clear that this game may be a little dumb. Sure. What do I do, team? Tell me what answer I drew this game to answer this problem. Yeah, there's 0 blocks I can make, right? These have to hit. There's just too many creatures. Yeah, dude, you got it, boss. Dude, like, what? Are you serious? Oh, whatever, dude. I don't know. After last game and all the lands I drew, I can't possibly do it again. My AI shuffled my deck, right? Sure. You have one choice. Oh, yay. More lands. I'm not crashing out. Not Stephen A. talking about LeBron James. I'm not crashing out. Would you like to take my only other card that reasonably makes sense in the Unstoppable Slasher? No? Okay. Brother, it's Slasher. You think my 5 mana card matters? I'm actually gonna crash out. Like, I'm not joking. Well, I get to play this now. I've just played 2 games now of just drawing land off top of my deck simulator. It happens all the time. It's just, man, it's still tilting, of course. The rest. Think they have removal? What? Exile cards from my deck? What? Sure. This does for 3 mana nothing. For 4 mana, sacrifice half. Discards half for 5, lose half for 5. I'm gonna take this. I don't. Honestly, the only reason I have to take that is if I draw an Unholy Annex, I kind of need my Unholy Annex. Opponent. I say, are you cut downing your own creature, or? Oh, there's 4. Which they would have just cast this, but now we at least make them take that turn off. Okay. Opponent, we can get through this game a lot quicker if you just make your game actions. Here's an Unholy Annex. Now I don't really care about this that much. To an extent. I get to play Speed Demon, which dodges both their removal. Although Speed Demon does, and to some extent, hurt us. Anoint's pretty good. Because Anoint can now answer that, which takes a mana away from them. They do hit us for 4, which sucks, obviously, but we don't really care about the Slasher getting it back because they have an exile effect. So it's not like getting our Slasher back really accomplishes anything. But can I go... I probably just have to take this, right? I probably just have to take another 3. The only fear is like losing half my life is kind of a problem. But Anoint does get to exile the Soulstone, so that's pretty good. Oh, that also helps. I don't think I care about having a second one of those. We're going to fire this off now so they don't get to go into their turn with this extra mana. For example, float it and do some nonsense with it. Then we have an Edict to pop their Deep Cavern Bat to maybe get our Slasher back, forcing them to use another card, and then we can try to win this game via card advantage. We're kind of making this Rush of Dread a little bit worse since they gave us a free kind of card remove. There's a land. I don't necessarily mind the land right now because I do have quite a bit of expensive game actions to take at this present moment. It's just when I'm just getting bullied by a card, I would prefer to work a bit different. When I make them sack that, life total obviously matters a bit. Then, of course, they can answer this if they want. I make a token, they can anoint it, so I don't want to do that. Slasher seems fine. If I play Speed Demon, I do lose a little life, which does suck. I can bring this up later. I can't really do both. So let's play this. Let's play Speed Demon. Unless they drew a Go for the Throat, and then that obviously would figure itself out. Maybe they did? I don't know. I finally got to play a Speed Demon, so I'm pretty excited, but I feel like it's going to be short-lived. Demon's such a risky card. I've been up and down on Speed Demon quite often because it's just like now we have 2 speed, by the way. Like now it's 2 life next turn. Now our Unholy Annex is neutral, and if I hit them for 5, by the way, it is 3 cards, 3 life, and it's just quite taxing overall. But we do have a Lily. We can play another Annex and gain 4 and then draw a lot of cards, but our opponent's got to figure out whatever their hesitation was on cards. It can make me lose half my life total. That would suck. But I don't think that matters, really. It, does, but it doesn't. But to some extent, I don't even want to attack with a Speed Demon at that point. I just want to gain as much life. If they use Rush of Dread for half my life total, I will gladly take that because that opens the door to play the second Annex. And then I also can maybe bring up Soulstone, right? 3. I can bring it up, but it can't attack. But I could do it the opposite way. If they're tapped out, I can bring up a Soulstone, attack with it, and then use its mana, I believe. I think that's how that would work. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so if we use 4, this, attack, play. Yeah, so they do nothing. Sure, that makes total sense. I totally agree. Let us go for Deep Cavern Bat. See what they got. We're in stare at each other simulator. Sure. That's fine. I just want to know what this card is. To be quite honest. If I'm Lily plussing, which it feels like I should. So it's a land. We're staring because of lands. Okay, opponent. Hit the go button. What? I'm gonna freak out. I'm making you lose life, dude. I don't know. Why are they allowed to pause here? Please, just can we make our game go at any speed faster? Are you allowed to target? Are you allowed to target anything with Anoint here? It's kind of weird. All the beginning event step, we can make it where we can stack these, by the way. If we want to have Unholy Annexes gain us life first, we would have to go in our settings to stop the game from doing what it wanted. But sure. The Speed Demon's showing why it's a good card in a spot like this where we just are fully loaded. Our opponent's still pausing at literally every moment they can, which is obviously a really fun gaming experience for everybody involved. But sure. Play land. Make me discard half my hand and make me sack or lose half my life or something. And now you can only do stack and then one of the other options. Sure. Discard 4 cards. Okay. I would like to cast a Duress. Target you. Take that. Sure. I will bring this up. I will then attack you for 3. Then I will have these double trigger. Then I will say go. I could have maybe played Bloodletter, but we'd be kind of in a similar spot. And they're guaranteed to lose the game when I play Bloodletter here. I guess they're probably guaranteed either way, right? Sacrifice. Uh-huh. Here you go. Now, do we get the infamous Alt F4 and then we have to wait until the game ends? Who will ever know? I want to assert dominance. Sure. All right, cool. I am so happy to move on from that game. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't feel like I am, but they had nothing in hand that they could actually reasonably cast, or they paused for so long that Arena started timing them. I feel like I'm justified. All right, so here we are. This is where we settled on mono black mid-range. This is about kind of a standard build overall. We have a little bit more kind of sack outlets than what you would normally expect in these kind of decks overall. Typically, we've been loaded on Go for the Throats in the past, but we play a lot more opponent sacrifices a creature. A lot of protection spells out there, a lot of Shelter by Ghost. Makes these cards a little bit more awkward. Playing 4 mana Go for the Throat is tough, especially if they blow you out with the 1 mana protection spell, whereas we get to play Momentum Breaker, Shielder's Edict, and like Liliana is obviously very good there. Obviously, I would say Momentum Breaker is kind of the softball card in these spots. You can definitely play another Liliana if you want. I don't think starting to speed necessarily early for a speed demon is all that important in this shell. But with that said, playing 4 Duresses felt pretty good along with the cut downs, and having all that extra removal was obviously awesome. But other than that, I just realized I played 24 lands the game I flooded really hard. I'm done talking about it though. Liliana and Unstoppable Slasher, obviously really good solid 3 drops into the Bloodletter of Aclazotz, which is a card that continues to, like, I don't know, it's like, when you read this card, it's the epitome of that's a trap, don't play it, but it ends up working out regardless, which is weird. And I think obviously a lot of the help from this deck comes from a card like Unholy Annex that makes this card really, really dominant, just because of the fact that it has Demon in its creature type, and it makes this hit for way more. So like those turns where you play an Unholy Annex and it doesn't get answered for the 2 turns, they're like, I just don't have anything, I'm not drawing anything for it. And you play a Bloodletter, makes every turn that this sits around significantly more important. And then you have to remove the Bloodletter or the Unholy Annex, and that's where this kind of value engine gets its bread and butter from. And then Archfiend obviously is pretty good. Don't want to play too many copies of that. And then the Speed Demon, of course, being a all-star in that last game. I still don't know how I feel about it. It's definitely a risky card to play, but in a deck like this, arguably, you're supposed to remove everything so you don't get touched, so you have a lot of life to spare. And if you don't, then maybe discard this to a Liliana or something. Or we just can't play it. But after all that's said and done, I hope you all enjoyed anyway, and I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.